What's going on YouTube? My name is GinJTCG or Chris, and today I'm back with another crazy rogue video. This one is Mimikyu Ogerpon, one of my favorite wall type decks. If you don't know, I'm a huge wall type deck advocate. We got Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon with the Cornerstone Stance ability, where you prevent all damage done to this Pokemon from your opponent's Pokemon that have abilities. So basically, like all of Charizard and all of a lot of decks like that have a lot of ability based attackers, so you prevent all the damage done to them. And you also have Demolish, which does 140 damage and is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, including weakness or resistance. So if you're up against another Ogerpon or a Mimikyu, you do have Shred and can attack through them no matter what their ability or effect is. We've also got Mimikyu with the Safeguard ability to get around other decks like Dragapult. So with Safeguard, we prevent all damage done to this Pokemon from your opponent's active EX or V Pokemon. So if we get a Mimikyu down with Mist Energy, which is right here, we got 4 copies of Mist, we can actually prevent all damage done from Dragapult to Mimikyu. And then if we get attached a Hero's Cape or a Luxurious Cape, we can swing more positively into Dracloaks and take KOs that way. So Mimikyu is a great attacker against that deck. Mimikyu and Ogerpon together combo very well against Arch Aladdin, because Ogerpon can shut down Arch Aladdin and Mimikyu can shut down Arch Aladdin and Dialga. Both of them do pretty well against Lost Box type decks, because a lot of those decks have abilities. Charizard is a solid matchup. Lugia is a fun one, but a lot of Lugia's attackers are Pokemon with abilities or rule box type Pokemon, such as Lugia, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Wellspring Mask Ogerpon, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. So if you could get around KOing a Minccino here and there with an Ogerpon or a Mimikyu combo in a way, you could actually work through that deck pretty well. And in case we do need another attacker that is pretty easy to set up, we are playing one copy of Entei V. With the Burning Rondo attack, we can actually swing for pretty big numbers, since we're not too worried about overbenching if it means we're taking KOs, since most of our Pokemon are solid wall Pokemon anyways. Fleet-footed allows us to draw, and it gives us access to Forest Seal Stone, so we could get a solid V-Star power. We've got 2 basic fighting energies to make sure we're comboing. You know, we're getting an Entei down and attacking if we need, and we got Crispin to make sure that the energy we have are getting attached where they have to be. We're also playing one copy of Regieleki. The electromagnetic sonar attack is insane for pulling yourself out of a really bad hand. So if you use Research or Iono and you have an energy on Regieleki and you don't get anything playable for the next turn, you can put that Iono back into your hand to give you more options going into the next turns. You also can use it to recycle our Ace spec, which I've mentioned is Hero's Cape. So if we want to buff something up with Hero's Cape again and we don't mind sacking a Regieleki to do that, well, we've got a solid play with it. So, past that, that's pretty much all the Pokemon for the deck. I mean, we have Rotom. Rotom is self-explanatory. You guys have seen it done before. It's in almost every deck known to man. Again, another solid Forest Seal Stone target, but it's really just there for instant charge, since many of our turns can be just draw pass, or, you know, looking for boss to stall, you know, just looking for, like, annoying type cards. That's why we're playing 4 copies of Ciphermaniac, Codebreaking. A lot of our turns, we don't necessarily need much in hand. Maybe we're just instant charging, so just using Ciphermaniacs to put 2 cards on top and then instant charging into them is a phenomenal combo. The other supporters for the deck, we've got 2 Crispin, which I mentioned get a lot of energy accelerated in perfect ways, since we do have 3 different energy in this deck. We've got, I believe it's just 1 copy of Iono, yeah, just for some solid hand disruption in the late game. We got 4 copies of Arven as well to dig out Buddy-Buddy Poffins, Nest Balls, Hero's Cape, Luxurious Cape, Forest Seal Stone, whatever type of tool, whatever item we need to allow us to get going. We got 2 copies of Boss's Orders to gust KOs on things that actually might be able to attack through our wall Pokemon, and then we've got 3 copies of Penny. Penny is the unsung hero of this deck. Well, it's not really unsung. I mean, it makes perfect sense why Penny is in the deck. If your opponent actually has a Pokemon that can attack, for example, your Mimikyu or Cornerstone Ogerpon, you can use Penny, pick the whole thing up, re-bench it, promote another one to attack, hopefully take the KO, and then you full healed the Pokemon that they just attacked. So Penny is definitely an essential card of this deck. We have a bunch of tools. We got 2 copies of Bravery Charms just to give us that HP boost, which allows us to tank more shots. Counter Gain, which allows our Cornerstone Ogerpon or even Mimikyu to attack a lot sooner, which is really nice. Forest Seal Stone, Hero's Cape, and Luxurious Cape, which is there for Mimikyu to help us get around, you know, some of the unevolved Pokemon that can swing and KO Mimikyu. For example, in the Charizard matchup, Charmeleon can often one-shot Mimikyu, so if we get Luxurious Cape down, we can survive an attack and hopefully take an extra KO that way. The items for the deck are a little hectic. We got 2 Buddy-Buddy Poffins to take out our Mimikyus. We got 1 Counter Catcher for Gust, 1 copy of Earthen Vessel to draw out any energy needed for manual attachments, 1 copy of Enhanced Hammer just in case there is a pesky special energy that is a little annoying. I'm thinking it's really, like, when I put it in, I haven't used it in any of my warm-up matches, but as far as why I'm keeping it in the deck still, it's if your opponent has like a annoying copy of like a Mist Energy or something just to prevent damage counters because Dragon Balt's really popular. I figured having one Enhanced Hammer to get rid of a random Mist Energy so Ghost Eye can work, since it is a damage counter based attack, is a very good one of in this deck. We got one copy of Heavy Ball, which is really just there for like Rotom or if we prize a Cornerstone Ogerpon. You know, we can live without the Enteis and Regielekis if possible, but those are two of the more pivotal Pokemon in this deck. So we've got a Heavy Ball for them. Vacuum to get rid of any stadiums or tools like Sparkling Crystal that our opponent was relying on. Nest Ball is self-explanatory as well. We got a high count of Pokégear and one Pal Pad to make sure that we're constantly playing and searching out supporters. Even after we use them, we got Pal Pad to put some supporters back and Pokégear to dig out some supporters. We got one copy of Rod, one Night Stretcher to make sure we got some recovery options, and two copies of Lost City. So if your opponent does have Pokemon that can get around these wall-type Pokemon, we got Lost City, so we can play Lost City down when we're taking the KO so that Pokemon goes to the Lost Zone. And that way we don't have to worry about our opponent using Night Stretcher or Super Rod to recycle those attackers. Past that, that is pretty much it for the list. I mean, there's a lot going on in the deck, but it is a relatively simple deck to play. I'm very excited to get into this one. I played a deck very similar to this at the last regional I attended. It used Arceus as a potential option to attack, so into my Lugia and Gardevoir matchups, I had an Arceus line that I can use as primary attackers to take prize cards and try to swing into the trade a little bit better, since those are two harder decks for wall decks to work around. But I still think this is a pretty well-positioned deck in the format, and especially if you're looking to grind the ladder, this is an awesome pick for you. So if you need something fun to play, definitely look into a wall-type archetype. Now, before we hop into the video, just wanted to remind everyone about two things. One, TCG Player affiliate link. If you click on the link in the description down below and you're going to TCG Player for any decks, deck accessories, or singles for any card game, doesn't matter what, click on the link down below. If you order something within 48 hours of clicking and using that link, you support the channel in a huge way, so thank you to everyone who's doing that. And more importantly, tomorrow, in actually just about 24 hours from when this video went up, we will have the Rogue Regionals, the live stream tournament, where my buddies and I are playing in my apartment, and we all have some crazy Rogue decks and are seeing which Rogue deck will take down the championship of the first Rogue Regionals and get an insane playmat that I showcased on the Battle VIPs podcast and showed a snippet of in my last YouTube post. So definitely tune into that stream. It's going to be a ton of fun to watch. I got a bunch of giveaways planned. It's going to be an awesome time. I hope to see all you guys there. Now, with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this intro. Let's hop into this deck and see how well it can do. Welcome to match number 1. We're going first, I believe. My opponent is taking a mulligan. We don't have an insane hand, but we got fleet-footed. We can attach an energy. We got something to do. Just going into next turn if we need. So, you know, we got some playable things. I didn't lead Regieleki because we are going first. So I'm not playing any supporters. There's most likely not going to be anything I'd want to recycle going into next turn. Too bad. I'd rather just get after it and swing with Entei a little bit sooner if I can with just 2 manual attachments. I definitely don't mind getting a Psychic Energy in play this turn. I want to keep the Fighting Energy, just in case I need Ogerpon. I do only play 1 copy of the Fighting Energy, so it could get a little scary sometimes, but Ogerpon, when it walls decks, does insanely well. So having that to wall out decks is a bit better, and we're up against Dialga, most likely paired with Arch Aladdin, which is definitely a solid matchup for the deck, and Mist Energy is even better to attach. For now, I will just fleet-footed, see what I can draw into. A Night Stretcher doesn't feel bad at all. I'll get a Mist Energy Smackdown, and I will pass for turn. I'm not too worried about an Arch Aladdin deck taking a KO on Entei V this turn, but it is possible that I could potentially swing for KO going into the next turn. I don't know how I would do that. Ooh. Actually, it might just be pure Dialga. I was thinking Dialga Arch Aladdin, but if it's Metang Dialga, that could be a little bit more difficult because Metang can swing pretty well into my Mimikyus, and I do believe our Mimikyus are weak to metal, so that could be a slightly bigger problem, but we'll see what my opponent's line is. I definitely haven't seen a Metang Dialga deck in a while, so I'm excited to play into it, especially for match number 1, because they've got options. Mimikyu's going to be our best friend because Dialga does not have any ability, so Cornerstone's not going to wall it out. However, because we're using Mimikyu and my opponent's actually playing Metang, they can swing very well into my Mimikyus, which could be awfully annoying. And I'm definitely not upset about an Iono there. I just need one way to search out a Fire Energy or draw the Fire Energy, and we got Buddy-Buddy Poffin and Heavy Ball to draw out a lot more Pokemon. and swing for KO because we're swinging for weakness against Dialga. So this might be of a more Entei V Mimikyu matchup, which is not the combo I expected, but definitely one I'm excited to show off. My opponent's going to fail the Buddy-Buddy Poffin there, keep one extra bench space, and use Metal Coating to get a lot of energy attached to their active, which, again, is fine. I should be swinging for KO very easily because we've got weakness on our side, and that is the perfect top deck to do it. So for now, we'll go Buddy-Buddy Poffin, we'll take out double Mimikyu, and we do have Rotom in the deck too. Alright, that's perfect. I am going to check if it's worth playing Heavy Ball if something's prized. I know for now I definitely want to get Rotom. We do have one Mimikyu prized. I don't think I totally need that though, right? I'm not sure. So we'll use the Heavy Ball. I guess it's better to take it out and not need it than need it and not have it. So we'll just keep it in our hand for now. I don't know if I need to use the bench space on it. I'll definitely attach the Fire Energy here. And I'm going to use Fleet-Footed before I use Pokégear. I definitely am hoping I can get a different supporter. That's not Penny this turn, but that's not a bad top deck. And we actually have a phenomenal choice going into next turn. So I'll take Arven here. I do kind of like our hand. We got a bunch of stuff that's pretty useful. I'm going to Arven for, what is the best play for us? It might just be Vessel. Just get some extra energy attached. Or Force Seal Stone maybe? I didn't even hate going Gear Force Seal Stone and hoping I get a Crispin. And then, if not, using Force Seal Stone for Crispin. Although Vessel allows me to just pull energy out. How many energy are in the deck? Is this something I'm really going to need? It probably is. We got 2 Psychic Energy. You know what? I'm gonna keep the Vessel. If I need, I could always use Force Seal Stone for Crispin next turn. For now, I do like the hand. I definitely don't want to instant charge. Our best play is definitely Burning Rondo here for 320 damage and kind of putting my opponent back into a tricky spot. They can set up Dialga next turn. They could potentially evolve into 3 Matangs. They need to hit very well if they want to go for a Star Chronos play. And luckily, we have 230 HP. So Star Chronos swings to 20 and it won't actually one-shot Entei, which is going to be extremely relevant in this matchup. Of my opponent's 3 cards, one of them was Buddy-Buddy Poffin, where they get Badoo down, and Research is the next one. Okay, so my opponent chose not to Iono, which I'm surprised about. I definitely thought Iono would have been a nicer play, would have put me down to 4 cards, and I've got an awfully big hand. And, I mean, I guess my opponent draws an extra card, so maybe they're hoping they can dig a little bit deeper to find some more Matangs. So far, though, they only got the 1, and there is the quick concede, and that's kind of the power of Wall Deck with Entei, and that's why I was super excited to show it off. Sorry for the cut, my girlfriend's MCAT course started playing in the background. Thanks, Rich. Anyways, that's why I'm definitely excited to have that as match number 1, because I feel like oftentimes when you play this deck, you're like, why is Entei in this? That's why. The matchups where like Ogerpon and Mimikyu don't totally cover it, that Entei is the most clutch card. So as a first match showcase for the deck, I'm definitely not upset about it. For match number 2 and 3, I'm definitely going to hope, though, that I can show off the power of Mimikyu and Ogerpon just a tad bit more. Welcome to match number 2. My opponent takes 2 mulligans, and they are playing Temple of Sinnoh, which could be a little scary, as well as a Fire Energy Arven. Might be a Dracloak deck. Temple of Sinnoh definitely going to be something I need to work around, so I will need to save a stadium just to get around that, although my opponent has Charizard sleeves. So I'm curious to see if it's Charizard, which would be a phenomenal matchup for us. Definitely something I'm more likely to be able to deal with. I did record a match or play a match in between now and match number 1. I forgot to hit record. It was a phenomenal match, but in the interest of time, since it's getting late at night and I have work tomorrow since it's Thursday at the time of this recording, and I've got work on Fridays, I figured, you know what, let me just call it here and hop into another match. It was an insane match, though. It was against Dragapult EX. I had 2 Mimikyus. I had Lost City, where they had popped a double Dusknoir and then Lost Zoned their Dusknoir that were in their deck, and I had 2 Mimikyus left. One of them had a Mist Energy. The other had Luxurious Cape, which I got out of the prizes, since I prized Luxurious Cape and Hero's Cape, and I got Luxurious out of the prizes from their Dusknoir. And then I had an odd combo of 1 Mimikyu with Mist and 1 Mimikyu with Cape, and I was trying to make it work, and it was 3-3 in terms of prize cards, and oh my gosh, was I so upset that I wasn't recording. I never hit start recording, and now I'm staring at that blue button that says stop recording, so I know that a recording's going, and it makes me feel a lot better. My opponent led Charmander, and they got rid of Pidgeot. I think that this might be a Charizard deck. I'm hoping it's just a Charizard deck. I really don't want to see Dragapult. Dragapult is just annoying to work around, because then we really need Mist Energy. And if I could just really not need Mist Energy, that would make me feel a whole lot better. But I also know that the one of Fighting Energy is in the deck, which is just, that's always great. So we'll throw Rotom down. We'll play Arven. We'll take out, I mean, we got Crispin in hand, so I don't really need to Forest Seal Stone for that the following turn. I will take Forest Seal Stone, and I think the next best play for us might just be a Nest Ball. Unless our other Ogerpon is prized, I was going to say then I'll go Heavy Ball, but you know what? It's here. It's chilling. I think we're just going to rock with it. So I'll attach the Fighting Energy to the active. I'm not going to Nest Ball yet. Honestly, I think I'm just going to hold the hand. I think I just like the instant charge route. I got Crispin, so I got a good supporter for next turn. Excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. I've got a Crispin, so I got a good supporter for next turn. I got a supporter that allows me to get enough energy in play to start attacking my opponent's Charmanders and just get after their deck as soon as possible. Once I see a Buddy-Buddy Poffin, I will know if my opponent is playing any Dragapults or not. If they're playing Dragapult Charizard, they've got a way to deal with the Ogerpon, and then we're going to be loading Mist Energy up onto Mimikyu with the Psychic Energy ASAP. I'm going to just ditch the whole Ogerpon effort, and we're going to see now what type of deck my opponent is playing, and it seems to be just a standard Charizard deck. Duskull and Dusknoir could be a little annoying, but with the help of Hero's Cape, which we do know is in the deck, I can actually get around the Dusknoir line pretty well. They could go Rare Candy Dusknoir. If I have Lost City in play, just like the unrecorded match, I mean, you know, it'll go in the Lost Zone. If I don't, it'll go in Discard Pile. It takes a lot to recycle. I think we could probably still deal with it all right. I mean, that's most likely my opponent's best route. Their Charmeleon might even be one with an ability. Like, there's a chance that my opponent's Charmeleon might not even be able to attack me, and they just evolve straight into Charizard here. Okay. I mean, that's fair. They can use Infernal Rain, unless they play Canceling Cologne. Even then, I wouldn't be too scared, just because they're not swinging for KO yet. They'll have to use Dusknoir before that. It is a worry, though. It is always a worry. But that's fine, because I got a Nest Ball for another Ogerpon, and we'll see if they can deal with two very well. I am going to assume that it's going to be hard for my opponent to do that, though. They will just instant charge, draw 3 more cards. I was curious to see if they would go Burning Darkness and just kind of waste their attack. They don't, however. They are playing very smart, so we're going to get the Nest Ball down, and we're going to get down another Ogerpon. I'm not going to go digging for a Mimikyu just yet. I want to see what else my opponent has in store for us before I know I need to Mimikyu, or if I want to Rod and then go Nest Ball. I don't want to play anything too hastily. I'm going to get this Fire Energy down. Nope, I lied. I'm going to get the Psychic Energy down. I meant to do that the opposite way. Get the Fire Energy attached. Not the end of the world, though. I'll throw the Mist down. I don't think it's going to be too relevant this matchup based on what my opponent's played. I don't think there's anything worth using Forest Seal Stone for, since we did use a supporter, or else I would say I want to go Boss KO on Dusknoir. So I think my play is just Demolish and just swing. I could Luxurious Gate. No, it's not going to do anything. I need to be a non-Roblox Pokemon for that. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, we'll just swing. We'll just swing for 140. We are 3-shotting their Charizard, but unless they go Rare Candy Dusknoir, I'm not too scared of anything happening. Again, the Canceling Cologne play could be problematic. If they go Rare Candy Dusknoir, or just evolve into Dusclops and Rare Candy, that would be bad. That would allow my opponents to take a KO with Charizard EX, but that we can figure out, because then their Dusknoir would be down. It buys us some more time to get reset up. I think next turn I want to use Nest Ball, take out a Mimikyu, just to thin the deck one, and then I'm going to use Gear and hope I find Boss's Orders, and then I'm going to use Forest Seal Stone and dig out Lost City, and then I'm going to boss Lost City Duskull, and just prevent their evolution from happening before it could even begin. And my opponent just goes instant charge again. Okay, good. I really honestly didn't want to see an Iono there. I had a pretty solid hand, and we get a Mist Energy there out of the top deck. Not a bad card. I'll take a Mimikyu down. Mimikyu is just a safe play all around. It deals with Charizards, Pidgeots. Dusknoir is always a problem, but so what? And you know what? If I gotta go Penny, I gotta go Penny. I don't hate a Ciphermaniacs either here, actually, either. Because then I could do the same play I was talking about next turn, and we had one in hand, so maybe I should have taken the Penny. Whatever, not the end of the world. For now, we will make our top deck Boss's Orders, and then we'll make the next card in our deck Hero's Cape, although it's not, yeah, it doesn't matter here either, because I'm just going to use Forest Seal Stone, attach it to Rotom. I'm going to use Forest Seal Stone for Lost City, and I'm going to continue my play. Yeah, it doesn't matter what I'm taking. We're going to take this. It doesn't matter the second card. All that matters was that I was getting Boss's Orders and an energy attached to my Ogerpon. I will do the Mist Energy just to make sure that it's safe from any damage counters from an attack, in case my opponent has some insane sort of player attacker come through. And we'll demolish for another 140. See if my opponent has a response. I don't again, like, they play Canceling Clone or they don't. I don't think Charizard plays Canceling Clone right now, at least not TM Evo Charizard, which seems to be what we're up against. Pidgeot does hit the field, so my opponent can start using Quick Search for anything they need, and definitely can allow my opponent to get a little more versatile. I just don't know how they get around 2 Ogerpons with a potential 2-1-1 Dusknoir line. Maybe at most they have a 2-1-2. Maybe 2-2-2, but I'm not scared of Dusclops. It's really just one Canceling Cologne, and then whatever Dusknoirs my opponent has in their deck. And like, one piece of that could be prize too. Never bank on a prize. A Dusclops, again, not something scary, unless I see Canceling Cologne this turn, in which case I'll have to Force Heal Stone, and probably go for Crispin, just to set up. No, but I need Rod too to get back a Fighting Energy. That could be problematic. Yeah, they put the damage on the active. They might actually have Canceling Cologne in their deck. I need Rod to then get energy down. Lost City is so sweet there too. Okay. Huh. Sorry, if you don't know what I'm running for, I need the Fighting Energy back so I can use my other Ogerpon. And now they're going to use Counter Catcher because they're behind on prize cards to pull up Rotom and take a KO. That's fine. That's okay. I can live with that. Sure, Force Heal Stone is a lot less cool because I'd have to play Entei, but I could get around that since I made Boss's Orders my top deck, and I just so happened to get Lost City out of the prizes, so it actually works out. I actually still do have the boss KO with Lost City in case my opponent gets down another Dusclops, which they could this turn. There is a chance. I think for us the best play is to attach the Fire Energy onto Ogerpon, and then just leave that guy with 1 energy remaining, so I could always Night Stretcher back the Fighting Energy later in the game, and just get the backup Ogerpon ready to attack too at that point. So my opponent's got Arven, most likely Buddy-Buddy Poffin, and I don't even know. I mean, if we TM Evo, okay, that's fair. And they'll get down another Duskull. No, they're gonna Rod back the Duskull and Dusclops. Are they just playing a 1-1-1 line? They might be, or they prized one. Either way, my opponent's gonna get the Duskull out, and I'm taking a KO on it this turn. And putting it in, in the Lost Zone. I'm going to Lost City it because it just so happened we got the perfect prize card on one I didn't even process was prized. I just got really lucky and took Boss's Orders with Ciphermaniac and City. So, do we see anything else from my opponent, or is it just an instant charge? They didn't use Quick Search yet. Oh my gosh, wow, I didn't even realize that. Okay, so they've got a lot of stuff to do this turn. I don't think there's anything more disruptive they could play that would truly scare me. A Fire Energy on a Charmander, sure. If you have a Charmeleon that can attack, you have a Charmeleon that can attack. All I know is I have a Lost City, so I can get rid of your only Duskull, and that's going to be kind of your key to victory in a match like this if you're playing a wall archetype. Maybe your Charmeleons can deal with Mimikyus well, but you still have 2 Ogerpons to go through, and that's a lot for a deck with ability on Rotom, ability on Pidgeot, ability on Charizard, potential ability on Charmeleon, or definitely ability on Charizard, and Duskull I'm about to get rid of permanently right now. Our top deck, as we know, Boss's Orders. I will get the Fire Energy down on Ogerpon just in case, and we'll go Boss on Duskull, smack down Lost City, and I think, do I ever Pal Pad? I don't think so. I don't think I really need to that bad yet. We'll just go Demolish, take out Duskull permanently, and move on. So we'll take 1 prize card there. Rachel, you're insane, by the way. No. She just crawled around my entire chair just to dodge the camera. I already called you out for your MCAT program playing out loud.
It's those headphones.
You might as well just say hi at this point. It's still recording.
Hey,
They can't see you. Alright, we'll see what my opponent's got this turn. I don't think at this point there's really much I'm too worried about. They could use Pheasantipiti's attack, Cruel Arrow. It's not going to do anything. Ogerpon blocks the damage, and so does Mimikyu, whether they're in the active spot or the bench, so that's not a worry. That's not a Duskull that's in play either, so I think at this point my opponent might play a Charmeleon. They might not. That has an ability? I don't know. It's whatever Charmeleon they have. I would assume they have the one where you take, 20 less damage from attacks. I feel like that's the most popular Charmeleon to play because it allows you to dodge a Greninja when it's on the bench, which is very relevant with Palkia doing pretty well, like here and there in different tournaments. Or, I guess maybe Gardevoir with Screamtails? I don't know. I'm just trying to find reasons to validate my thought on why they should play the ability Charmeleon. and make Cornerstone Ogerpon that much better. They're doing a lot of thinking, regardless. If they have Canceling Cologne, we'll see it this turn. The amount of thinking my opponent is doing tells me two things. One, they don't play it. Two, it's prized. Why are you laughing?
And they don't play it.
No. I mean, if they have one card they could potentially play. Sorry, Rach is laughing at me in the back. They've got one card that could potentially hurt me. It would buy them a KO. It wouldn't really buy them anything else. I would just play the other Ogerpon, and then they're in the same spot where they're just stuck. They have no attackers that are going to do anything. And this is why I said the deck is pretty easy to play. The list is a little complicated. There's a lot going on, but it's not like it's a hard list to figure out. You see a lot of red text, you play Ogerpon. You see a lot of EX or V Pokemon, you play Mimikyu. And Charizard is one of those decks where both Mimikyu and Ogerpon happen to be insanely effective. So my opponent's going to go Turo, full heal the Charizard, which is just buying time for something I don't know. They didn't have Charmeleon down, did they? At any point? I think they went Rare Candy into Charizard. I'll double check. And I'll see what they got. Yeah, they went Rare Candy into Charizard. So they never showed me what Charmeleon they're playing. Oh, I probably would have made a bigger mental note of that if they had played something. And no, they just go Instant Charge. So yeah, I don't think Canceling Cologne is something in their list. And we get Hero's Cape out here. We're fine. We're chilling. They used Force Seal Stone, so there's no point in vacuuming that guy away. I think here we just throw the Psychic Energy down on Mimikyu. Go Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking. Yes. Oh, she's on you. My cat is sitting on her lap. It's like, what? That's on you, bro. You got a cat on your lap. And here. Well, I don't even know what to search for. Oh. She's like freaking out over my cat on her lap. I don't know. I'm trying to hand her my phone. She's asking for other things. I don't know what's going on. What do I search for? I don't know. I don't think there's really anything I need that bad, to be honest. I could go Boss again, just to have it. Well, I don't know what I just clicked on. Just to take out a Charmander, maybe. And I guess a Mist Energy. Maybe a Lost City. I don't hate Lost City. Get a good stadium bump, and that might be the only stadium my opponent plays, so then I can abuse them a little bit more by bullying some Charmanders into the Lost Zone, and we'll swing with Demolish on their active. And I think here we'll see if my opponent's got something in store again. If we don't start seeing Charmeleon, maybe I should have put City on top in case they do play Charmeleon that could attack us. I could have gone City first, gotten rid of that Charmeleon, and then I would have had Boss the following turn to take out a Pidgeot. That probably would have been the best play, but I don't think it matters too much. I think just taking a KO on anything, or just even having Boss in hand and not even using it, is even more of a flex. I could use it to Boss KO Pidgeot. It's not a bad look, gives us 2 prizes, but then it does make us Briar a Bull. I'm almost hoping my opponent... I mean, even if they give us Pheasantipity, we're 2-shotting it. Rotom 2, we're not swinging for any weakness damage. We're not allowed to with our attack. So it makes us just... It makes these matches longer, where it's like annoying because we're sitting here. It's like I don't even know what else to say. Like, we've got a solid wall. There's not much my opponent can do. I don't think there's anything really worth searching for. I guess they could buy out time, but I'll run their clock out of principle before I do anything else. And they play the Charmeleon without the ability that does 20 damage to itself. It does 70 damage, so it can one-shot a Mimikyu, which means Hero's Cape never feels like a bad plan, and it also means that I'll be taking a KO on Charmeleon this turn, assuming they retreat into it, and that definitely means that I should have gotten Lost City as my top deck, which is annoying. And Max Belt, is that gonna do anything? I don't think that'll become relevant. I mean, they'll swing 120. We have much more HP than that left. We got 160. They could get another Dusclops down. They could deal with us that way. I think we're fine from here. I don't know. I regret not getting the Lost City up top. That was definitely a misplay on my end. I am praying it's not going to be one that comes very relevant. They'll also need more time to get energy on the other Charmander. The only way they could do that instantly is if they evolve, and I don't think, if they do that, then they really are cooked. They have to take a lot more time to get another Charmander set up and everything. So We'll see. And they got an Ultra Ball. Okay, so they could get another Charmeleon. They probably play 2. It is a TM Evo build of Charizard. I would be shocked if they're not playing. They're playing Pidgeotto. I know for a fact they're playing 2 Charmeleon. But them not using it this turn is interesting. Alright, I mean, that doesn't change anything. Oh, maybe because they have to rod back this Charmeleon. And then evolve it onto their benched Charmander. That's probably why, if I had to take a guess. That's okay, though. I think at this point, it's really just a sit and wait game. See what my opponent's got in store for us. They're taking their sweet time. Definitely testing my talking abilities and how well I could yap about them doing absolutely nothing. They get rid of another Dusclops, which, wait, that's their second Dusclops, so then they do play... No, it's their first one, that's right. I killed Duskull before it evolved into Dusclops after they had used Dusclop once. Okay, so they might only be playing the one Duskull. They're either playing one Duskull or the second one is prized. Either way, I think at this point in the game, it's a little too late for another one to become relevant. We get Boss's Orders. I could use it on Pidgey, but I think taking the KO is just better on their active. I'll throw Hero's Cape down, though. So now they have to do a little bit more to KO. Just evolving into a Charmeleon and attacking is not going to do it for my opponent. And I'm just going to swing with Demolish for 140 damage. Taking a KO, going on an odd prize, which will be very useful since now my opponent cannot Briar. Assuming that I go Boss KO and Pidgeot the following turn, there's a chance I might just bully a Charmander, especially if they evolve it into Charmeleon, because I'll have Boss and Lost City in hand. So if I can just get rid of Charmeleon without an ability, I'll definitely do that. And my opponent is taking their sweet time yet again, deciding on who to promote, which I'm praying they just tapped out. I'm praying they just all F-forward. It's very easy. They go Pidgeot. It's got a free retreat. No matter what happens, they can retreat into any Pokemon they need. So them sitting here not doing anything could potentially be the key to my opponent just having left at this point, which I'm proud of them for making it this far. They've been playing for a while and stuck this match through very well. It was doomed from the start, though. Ogerpon Mimikyu is not a deck Charizard ever wants to see, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've never been that upset with Charizard being as overpowered and insane as it is. As strong a deck as it is, it's very easy to look at the deck holistically and just counter it pretty well. They're promoting Rotom. My opponent is not playing the game. They 100% have just completely closed Pokemon TCG Live and moved on with their night. Probably doing something else, probably cursing out how dumb Ogerpon the card is and Mimikyu, even though I didn't even get to use it, and to them I would just say, I don't know, play a different deck. Why are you getting all mad? Charizard's whack. And they're sitting here. I really have nothing else to yap about. Play the deck, it works. It beats Charizard, you'll climb the ladder. Any day now, my opponent will get hit with the inactive too long, and I can move on. It's match number 3, so I will see you guys when they inevitably tab out. Alright, sorry for the cut. Apparently, them tapping out isn't doing anything. My mouse just died. That was... Wait, what? Why is my mouse, not working? Alright, fine. We'll do it with the D-pad. Who cares? I got my laptop that this is connected to. I'm just going to boss up Pidgeot, take 2 prize cards off this guy. I still don't think my opponent's here. I don't think it's going to matter too much. And this happened yesterday, and it was really weird. I don't know why this is happening. My mouse is, stuck, not working. Alright, whatever. We'll ball with the D-pad. I've got a solid gaming laptop. I actually don't have a PC. I think a couple people asked on one of my first streams what PC I use, and I was like, I don't. So, if my mouse isn't working for whatever reason, you guys can see it on screen. It's all weird and wobbly. Maybe it's my mouse pad or my mouse sensor. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably the sensor. Yeah, okay. Just wipe that, and now everything's fine. That would do it. And my opponent is still taking their time finding another Pokemon, so I'll see you hopefully when they're inactive, and I don't know, hopefully soon. I don't know what's going on. Welcome to match number 3. My opponent has Dragon Sleeves. I am going second, and we open up with a solid hand. I've got Iono and Rotom in the active to instant charge my way to victory, and I'm up against Regieleki V. Safe to say, my opponent will most likely be able to take a KO turn 2. They've just got a funny way of doing that on Rotom, but that's okay. Mimikyu can deal with this matchup actually very, very, very well. They can use Mew EX to get around it, but if we can get Mist Energy down on Mimikyus, we actually could probably deal with them even better. So we'll use Heavy Ball here. See, 2 of our Mist that I was just talking about are prized, And I think that means our next best play is probably just to Iono. I don't think it's worth putting Bravery Charm on the active just in case I need to Force Heal Stone at any point. I think it's better for us to just Iono. Even though my opponent didn't have the most playable hand, I'm sure there was a research in there for the following turn, so I don't feel awful about giving them just one more card. And here, that's not great either. Okay, let's get down an Ogerpon, I guess. Mimikyu or Ogerpon? I'll get down Ogerpon because I can probably live a Kyurem. Like, if my opponent goes Kyurem next turn, that could be scary if we get Mimikyu down. I don't know. Do we have the fighting energy? Yeah, we do. Alright. We'll do Ogerpon. We'll have some fun with it. And then we'll go instant charge. Draw 3 cards. Hopefully 3 big cards. Double Penny Arven is actually not bad. My opponent can Dragon Laser and start swinging that way. That could do damage onto the Cornerstone Ogerpon, but we could just take our time and set up Mimikyus then to deal with them. They get rid of a Giratina V-Star, which is, again, not a worry for this deck. They can either use Mew EX or they're not going to. I'm almost hoping they load their bench up before they get Mew down, because that would mean all I have to do is not KO them, and I have as much time as I need to set up my own Mimikyu to deal with the Mew. So Mew could copy my attack, Ghost Eye, which does 7 damage counters. If I have Cape and Mist Energy, not only would I live that attack, so if they have one of Temple of Sinnoh, it wouldn't do the most, but it would also mean that I don't take any damage from damage counters if I get the Mist Energy down. And you know what? They actually did pull this off quite well. They didn't even use a Legacy Star yet. Is this Nest Ball going to be the dreaded Mew EX? No, it's another Regieleki. Alright, that's manageable. We can deal with this. They can use Drag Pull to attack our active, get 6 damage counters down onto our benched Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. And they're saving the V-Star power, okay. They definitely have a Canceling Cologne in the deck, which they'll probably use to deal with Ogerpon next turn. That's okay. I'm going to spend my time just trying to beef up a Mimikyu and use that guy to close out the match. If I got to deal with the Mew, I got to deal with the Mew. There's not much I can do about it. We'll go Arven. We'll take out Buddy-Buddy Poffin and Hero's Cape here, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to take a while to get these Mimikyus to the picture-perfect point, but that's okay. I've got time. For now, we'll just get these guys down. Actually, you know what? My opponent could just keep swinging with Dragon Pull, taking out Mimikyus. It's actually really annoying. I didn't really think about that, huh? That's okay. We'll get Cape. I'll Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking for probably a Mist Energy, and then a Psychic Energy next turn. And, you know, I could Bravery Charm the active too. That would put us at a clean 200, though. That wouldn't really save us either. Oof. Okay. That's fine. We'll figure it out. I've got pennies, if needed. If they put all their damage counters on, like, my Mimikyu with Cape, or if they do that twice, I'll penny. They might not play a vacuum, and if they do, I'll chance it. Whatever. It is what it... Oh, Kyurem. Kyurem wipe could be annoying, but if they use Kyurem and they KO... They would only KO this guy, actually. Kyurem wouldn't KO this. We have 170 HP, so they would get rid of 3 energy to do 110 to 3 Pokemon. That actually wouldn't save them too much. Radiant Charizard could, but they need so many energy on that guy, and we haven't taken any prizes, so if I boss that guy up, he's going to be stuck in the active, which means I could swing with Mimikyu on him for a good bit, and that's not Mew EX. Mew EX, I think, is the scariest Pokemon in this deck. 1 Radiant Charizard in the early game, I can handle that. I can definitely handle that. We'll see what my opponent's got in store for us, and Iono. It's kind of annoying. I like the double penny and Ciphermaniacs are in my hand. Arven wasn't bad either. Ciphermaniacs and a Psychic Energy is just as good, to be fair. Just as good. And we got Counter Catcher, so we can actually buy some time and kind of gust up that Charizard early. My opponent is not KOing my active, however, they can use Dragon Ball and get damaged under the bench unless they go Kyurem. Wipe all the energy on their active, but they would take a KO on my benched Mimikyu, and they are going to use the damage counters to take that guy down. Alright, that's interesting. I'm surprised they didn't start loading it up on the one with Cape. It's a fair play from my opponent. They will take a KO next turn, so it makes sense. Can we? No, we don't get a Mist top deck. Actually, you know what? A Bravery Charm wouldn't save us here either. But Counter Catcher, forcing them to look for that switch card, will help us out a lot. So I'm going to bring up the Radiant Charizard. It's got the most annoying retreat there so far, and it's got the highest attack cost. It has the same retreat as Regieleki, but it's definitely more annoying to be able to use. So I'm going to get down a Mist Energy, and I'm going to make the next card in my deck. We do have one Boss's Orders. I am honestly really tempted to get another Boss's Orders down, but I'll get down a Penny in case I could Penny up this Mimikyu the following turn and just save that guy a little bit later, you know, make him go a little bit longer. I'd feel pretty good about that. We'll get the Mist on top, we'll attach the Psychic Energy to this Mimikyu here, and we'll pass it on over to my opponent. I could also use Penny to pick up my Ogerpon and just start attacking the Radiant Charizard even faster. That actually feels like a really good option too. So my opponent's going to keep Teal Dancing, get more Grass Energy into play, and they're gonna start being in a rough spot. I mean, they've got, what, 5 Grass Energy down, 1 Fire Energy. They need an insane amount of E-Switch, but no, they're gonna go Prime Catcher and bring up the Mimikyu with the Cape, which I can work around. I mean, they're not gonna KO it. Now it's just in the active spot. They can use Legacy Star. They didn't find the Canceling Cologne, though. Oh, but you know what? If they go Research, they could deal with 2 Mimikyus. I didn't think about that. If they get their own Canceling Cologne this turn. Thankfully, they didn't get rid of it with Legacy Star. They'd have to go Research to dig even farther for it. And did they just take Prime Catcher with that? They took Prime Catcher Energy Switch. Definitely not what I expected. I was scared they were going to go Research and dig even deeper. This is fine. Yes, I can't KO Radiant Charizard when they boss it up. It's going to stay. They'll be able to get it out of the active, but that's okay. Yeah. No, it's not something I'm totally worried about. I do have Penny as the following card, too. So I think here, all I want to do is go Boss on Radzard, force them to use Prime Catcher again, and just get rid of, just exhaust all switch possible from the deck. I'm also going to Bravery Charm up the Ogerpon so they can't Cure him, wipe it next turn. And then I'll use Ghost Eye. Put 70 damage on the Radzard. Okay. Canceling Cologne is going to be terrifying. Whenever my opponent pulls that out, I don't know how I follow through with that. I'm almost hoping I could find another Boss's Orders. There's not a super high chance my opponent will be able to retreat, and there's not a high chance they actually even have any more switch outs. Do they still play Cologne? Is that something? They have Temple of Sinnoh. Okay. We got outs to Temple of Sinnoh. I'm pulling up Drago lists right now. I actually don't know if they play Canceling Cologne currently. They're going Energy Switch. Wait, no. Tell me you have a manual attach and another Energy Switch. Do you even? Yeah, you might. You actually might be able to pull off the attack this turn. There is one Canceling Cologne and one Temple of Sinnoh still in Regidrago. No, they actually went for the retreat play, so they got rid of a lot more energy. They kept the Prime Catcher in hand, so they still have a, like a pivot for themselves, which is smart. They got superior energy retrieval, so yeah, they can just keep loading up energy at the cost of a Rod. That's big. That's a really big card for them to get rid of. They didn't take fire energy there. What? No, they did. They took fire energy to grass. Okay, I don't know why. I didn't totally see that. They're getting a lot of grass down on Ogerpon. They're just digging for Cologne. Cologne is all they need to win the match for sure. That is the card they're looking for. I've got one more boss. I did use Counter Catcher nice and early. It didn't buy me as much time as I was hoping, but, you know, it did, I guess, what it needed it to do, and my opponent is going to probably use Dragapult's attack. And, yep, they'll get 6 damage counters down on our benched Cornerstone Ogerpon, and we are in the same tricky spot I was in before. Except, I don't know how to deal with their active. You know, they are down superior energy retrieval and Rod. It could actually be worth it. We'll penny up Ogerpon. I'm thinking about retreating Mimikyu into Ogerpon and just seeing how they respond to that. Like getting rid of the psychic energy. Leaving Ogerpon in the active and Mimikyu on the bench actually is an unkillable board state. They could use Prime Catcher and flip it, but then they're in such an awkward spot. And I kind of like that. I like that a lot. Ghost Eye isn't going to do me anything. They could just keep putting an insane amount of pressure on Ogerpon via Dragapult, which they've been doing. So I actually like this play a bit more. I want to see how my opponent responds to this. I don't know if this was the smartest play. I think it just creates the most interesting board state. It's not great for me, but it buys me more time. And I think that's what's most important. My opponent doesn't have much recovery left, if any at all. I checked if they still play Cologne. I figured they did. They do. They play one Sinnoh, which we're staring at. Actually, no, I forgot about Mist Energy. Oh my god. Or Temple of Sinnoh, so Mist Energy is not live. That's a problem. It's not the end of the world, though. We got some stadium bumps. We do have outs, and speaking of stadium bumps, here it is. Okay. Well, that was a quick way to get around that Temple of Sinnoh. So now Dragapult isn't going to do much, like the attack, to our Ogerpon. They are loading up more and more energy onto Radiant Charizard, but that's not the scariest thing at this point. I don't think there's anything attack-wise my opponent could do that's really that scary. Yeah, they got Dragapult's attack. We're blocking damage on everything. Tina's just going to waste energy. Kyurem's just going to waste energy. Yeah, and we get Arven. Okay, this is huge. Excuse me. So with Arven, I can go Vessel and start getting some energy, some much needed energy. And Force of Stone? No. Take another cape. I'm gonna go Vessel so I can start getting energy down on Cornerstone Ogerpon, and I can start attacking with this guy as soon as possible. I'm gonna get rid of Enhanced Hammer. There's no way my opponent plays Special Energy in their deck. I refuse to believe they do. I'm gonna take a Psychic Energy and a Fighting Energy. I'm gonna attach the Fighting to my active. We're down. Vacuum? No, we never used Vacuum. That's right. Okay, so I could actually... There is a world where I do Vacuum away my Charm to use Counter Gain. Ooh, that would be an awesome play. If I could get Arven or Vacuum off the top deck, I think that would be nuts. Because then we could start putting on insane pressure with Cornerstone Ogerpon. And I don't know how my opponent follows up with that. I could easily get rid of Luxurious Cape. I'm not too worried about keeping that guy, yo, literally asking you shall receive. So we're going to get rid of Cape. We are going to get rid of this Bravery Charm because that isn't the most useful card at this point. I'm going to use Counter Gain since my opponent is ahead on prizes. Start getting some energy attached, and now we can use Demolish for 2 energy and put some pressure on my opponent's Regieleki. They put a little bit of pressure on us, but I'm responding very well. They got a substantial lead, but we also have an undeniably solid board state against a deck like this. And again, another deck where just using a wall type archetype can just lock out a very powerful, but holistically, it's got a very linear style of play. It's very versatile in terms of the attacks it can use, but it's very linear in the Pokemon that use the attacks, and that is where wall type decks thrive. So I can attach the Fire Energy to Mimikyu. I can use the Retreat, get rid of the Fire Energy, since it's no big deal, promote Ogerpon and take a KO, and put Radiant Charizard in the Lost Zone, which is so much more important than anything else. Honestly, that might have happened this game because Radiant Charizard was the one thing that could absolutely bully a Mimikyu with a Mist Energy. If my opponent KOs my active, there is always a world where I can get Mimikyu set up with Mist. It could stop Mew. And there's the last energy switch in the discard pile too. Okay. Where does Mew come in? Where do they have the deck left to follow through this game? I don't know if there's much. They do have Canceling Cologne, though. Okay. They're taking a KO. They're dropping down to 1 prize card. Do they have a way to close out the rest of the match? I'm not sure. Actually, even if they wanted to KO my active, they'd have to use Tina, which would get rid of 2 energy. And at this point, getting rid of 2 energy, even if they have Mew, they probably don't have the energy to set it up. I mean, there's 2 energy hitting the Lost on there. There's 4 in the discard. No, they leave all the energy on Regieleki. Do they play 2 Cologne? Yo, if they play 2 Cologne, they deserve to win. I mean, I don't know a Drago deck that's more scared of anything than a Drago deck playing 2 Cologne. We get double Pokégear. There's better chances of getting Crispin. Ciphermaniac's Codebreaking, not bad. Actually, you know what's not bad? Either Boss's Orders. So if nothing else, I'm bossing up that Regidrago, and I'm just going to stall him out. If they play 2 Cologne, that's fine. Actually, you know what? That might be a safer play for us. They don't play another switch. They already used Prime Catcher. Give me this guy. You don't have a switch like that. You don't. I know you don't. You might. There's a higher likelihood you play a switch card than a second Cologne. I'm still gonna run those odds. And Pal Pad's not bad there either. I'm gonna play Crispin first. I'm gonna take, I guess, the 1 basic energy left in the deck. Conveniently, it's my Psychic Energy. And I will just use Ghost. I could Pal Pad, actually. Get back Boss. Double Boss. let's do that. In case you do play a switch out, I would love to double boss. And we'll use, or double boss. I'd love to use boss's orders, and getting those back in the deck is just, I feel like, all around a good play. I'm going to start putting on some pressure with the Ghost Eye. If it goes that far, I'm probably not going to take a KO. Like, assuming my opponent goes the Iono route to replenish their deck, I don't think it's worth it for us to take a KO, just because I'm not scared of their active devs, no energy. They can Jewel Seeker, look at the last card in their deck. If it's a trainer card, they could take it out, but then all we have to do is pass for turn. And if they have no cards left in their deck, we will win. And I know some people are not the biggest fan of... Nope, they got Rod. Okay, so they could get 3 cards back in the deck. I know some people are not the biggest fan of deck out wins, but this is one of those scenarios where it's like, hey, we could finish this match. I've got no problem with it. I know I'm going to take these prize cards. I've got a Mimikyu and a Dream. And that is, frankly, it's really all I need when I'm up against Regieleki, especially when I'm not staring down a Mew EX, which is one of the only things I could get around Mimikyu very effectively in this matchup. Lost Vacuum Hawlucha could be a little scary if my opponent recycles Hawlucha. That is a play I'm going to look out for, and potentially cause and solid reason to get another Mimikyu down when I get Penny, so I can just full heal my active. But no, they just get down 3 energy, so they can slowly start setting up their active for the KO. And then I think, what would be the best play for us? I don't know. They have another switch card? No way. Wow, they actually did play another switch. No shot. And they're gonna Apex Dragon. They have every card in their deck. They didn't use Canceling Clone. If they had another Canceling Clone, they would have used it. They're just using Kyurem, getting rid of all the energy. It doesn't matter. My opponent knows there's no way they can deal with this Mimikyu. We've got this game on lock. That's a fire top deck, not anything needed. I figured my opponent was going to pick up their deck there, and that is going to do it for match number 3. I'm not going to lie. What was our record in this video? I think it was 2-1? 3-0? 3-0. What did I play against? Dialga? And then I didn't record the match. That's why I'm confused, because it didn't end. And I'm like, why don't I remember one of the matches ending? I forgot to hit record. I conceded, right? I believe we're 3-0. I might be wrong. We played Charizard, Regieleki, and a Dialga deck. Yeah, alright, we're 3-0. It was the Dragapult deck that was unfinished in that match number 2. I'm sorry, I'm such a mess. I'm all over the place right now. Oh, man, I was going to do my outro, but then I decided, like, coughing and having a choking fit. Yo, my fault. I've been a mess with talking and sneezing and just everything this whole video. I apologize. If you made it this far and you've tuned in for this long with me not knowing how to just use my words and talk, thank you. I appreciate it. This was an odd one. I wasn't on my A game this recording. So yeah, thanks. Regional tomorrow, Rogue Regional. Tune into that. It's going to be an awesome stream. Got a bunch of giveaways. I will be doing a bunch of posts in the Discord server. We'll probably have most of the giveaways because I know how to do giveaways well on Discord, but I'll be advertising them as they're going on through the stream for people to tune in on the Discord and vote and, you know, jump in for all of those. I'll also be doing a bunch of random ones on the stream too, just showing different code cards and stuff like that. So if you want some fun giveaways on stream on the Discord server, definitely check out both. The stream will be starting at 11 a.m. Well, probably a little bit earlier. The tournament starting at 11 a.m. I'll open up the stream a little early in case people want to tune in nice and early. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Definitely tune into the Rogue Regionals. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I've been practicing for a long time to take this tournament down. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.